just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away, leave. Maybe we're fan and flame, so why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can't hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can't hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
Here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. I'm still battling with Kuba.
You said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come, I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voice as a guide. You give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you all.
But he's gone wide! Speedy's going incredible!
Ticket, you're doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment. And every fire starts with a spark. A revolution.
Feel like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away, leave. Maybe we're fan and flame, so why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can't hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can't hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. I'm still battling with Kuba.
You said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come, I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices, I'll guide you. You give yourself all, but yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you a
But he's gone wide! He's going incredible!
Ticket, you're doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment. And every fire starts with a spark. A revolution. Stand up.
Hello, and welcome back to FRLT Season 6, and it's time for round number 11 of No Assists. It's another week, another race. And it's quite interesting to be back for the finale. This week we go to Japan, 5.807 kilometers, 3.08 miles, 18 turns, 1 zone down the pit straight. Bit of elevation change here and there, but nowhere else. So, looking on from that, the calendar, it is China. We have completed China, Austria, Imola, Great Britain, Australia. Then we had our Christmas break before going to Singapore, Monza, Brazil, Netherlands, Las Vegas. And this week, of course, for the final race of Season 6 of FRLT, it is Japan. Looking at the standings, it is another place to really look at. Venturi have completed the championship. They won it, of course, last week in Las Vegas. SET, sadly, losing out with a very poor finish last week. Their worst finish of the season. And their worst finish since no assists in the Netherlands in Season 5. OMB with a podium. VRA as well, just narrowly beating OMB to that podium. Definite fight for third there. 7 points dividing third and fourth. FCT on their own, not really in for a chance to get up any places, but it's the main thing at the moment is staying ahead of AZR, who just beat them on points last week. AERT with another P5 finish, another 10 points from last race. ESPL without the points. DLX score another, and SPG with a rare but good 4 points from their recent race. So I've got to say, looking pretty strong there from their grid. Looking pretty strong indeed. Coming into this final race, XPG has not submitted a lineup, so we're not going to see XPG race today, which is a bit of a strange one and a bit of a different one. Yeah, it's definitely interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting going into this week. You know, of course, we've got Japan. Difficult track to overtake on. Indeed, very difficult track to overtake on. But we are into qualifying now. As you can see, 18 minutes up on the timer, 17 drivers in. We are missing one, but that is because of some game problems, which isn't great, of course. It isn't a great way to start the evening. But we are into the final qualifying of not only no assists in Season 6, but also the entire season, the final 18-minute qualifying session of the season. I've got to say, for me, it is a bit sad to see this final qualifying session happen. I must say, it is quite sad in a lot of ways. It is very, very sad. I think, you know, for me, I do find it quite sad because, of course, it's the last race of the season, and you know, it's sort of reflecting on what we've had as a season so far as well. But the first car out on track is Kalu Blue for DLX. Yeah, first drive out on track, and he's immediately overtaken by speeding Sauber of Ryan Camporsi for FCT. But Ryan Camporsi is making his way around, and he is going to be the first one to start a lap this evening. We've only got a couple of drivers out on track, as you can see, massive groups of them. We've got 3 drivers at the moment, both SCTs and the DLX running through the first 2 corners already. So quite a couple of groups here and there. But Ryan Camporsi is out first, and as he makes his way around Spoon, he's going to be setting himself up for his lap here. No rush to get to the line, of course. He's got plenty of time to get this first run over and done with. You can see he slows down a bit, warming up those tyres, weaving side to side. That is the way to warm up the tyres. So let's ride on board with Ryan Camporsi on his lap as he makes his way round through the final chicane, getting all the exit you can. Foot on the throttle on that curb, now heading down the pit straight, opening the rear wing with the DRS as he now heads down this pit straight. He's not going to face much traffic, maybe an Alpine further in front. That would be Schumacher, I think he's going to have to face. Making his way through the first 2 corners. Very smooth from Ryan Camporsi. Not a lot of steering needed there. He's definitely very calm with the steering. We've seen that a lot when we've ridden on board with Ryan Camporsi this season. But through this first sector, he's made it. And I've got to say, not too bad from Ryan. And at the end of the first sector, it's 31.230 for the first sector. So 31.2, not bad for a banker run. Into the hairpin. I always hate this corner. It is, I'd say, for me, I think it is the hardest corner on the entire track. But I'd also put that up with Spoon, which we are just about to reach. Into Spoon we go. First part of the corner. And now the second part of the section. You can see just even more heavy tyre temperature and degradation, and a lot of tire pressure being put on those right hand side tires. Heading through 130R, through the left, and not looking too bad still. The Sauber looking to find some time. Final chicane, easily done. Only met with one car of traffic so far in this entire lap, and I think that's a pretty decent lap. And across the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 26.022 for the first lap of the evening. I've got to say, that is an incredibly quick first lap here tonight, because I mean 25.5 was pole on Wednesday in assists. As you see, Justin, he goes into a 27.4, so he's not in that same area of pace. Kalu Blue comes in, feels he doesn't need more, and across the line, Neo Steins can't beat Ryan Kapolsi, 26.201, so just under 0.2 of a second behind the provisional pole for the moment. Here comes Antonio across the line. He goes P3. He's also in the 27s. Not finding the lap time he really wanted. As there goes SET Finn. He goes P3. Up there. Who have we got next? It is actually Noah Boza who comes across the line. 26.5. And that's P4. So he's a bit off for the pace for the moment. Kottkamper as well does the same. P5 from himself. Bennett Hayder goes P3. Very nice to see. His teammate, though, only P7. And there goes Marcel Biega up to P3. And also to the 26.2. So, not bad from Marcel Biega indeed. Then VRE looking like they're really wanting to compete with OMB tonight. Schumacher again. So we saw Schumacher cross the line, he went P5, but he's a good over 10.5 away from Marcel Biega. Now, we look to Schumacher. Apologies for that. My microphone disconnected for a second there. So, big apologies. His teammate Benjamin Bai only goes into a 26.6 and P8 at the moment. Just Hood goes P9 for AERT. Still not okay lap times. Nothing brilliant. Kalu Blue is on another lap. So we'll see him through this first sector. I really want to show you guys this first sector, the Suzuka S's. Through the left, through the right, high intensity on the tyres. Through another right, before finally heading up over the hill for the very long left-hander this is. And Kalu Blue on his way round on his lap. Pablo's also started his lap as well, so we'll have somebody to look for after this. But let's see, Kalu Blue pushing hard through this middle sector. He needs to get this middle sector out, right? We saw a little bit of a wiggle from him a minute ago. So, maybe not all there for himself at the moment. But now, heading towards Spoon. He's got that speed. You could just see how sharp that Ferrari looks. It looks incredibly sharp. Understeering. A couple of other people I think we've seen look quite sort of understeery in their cars. I think we saw points of Schumacher, Neo Steins, Ray and Caporsi, they looked like they had a bit of understeer on board, and it didn't seem to really help them at all. But now we've got Kalu Blue just making his way round and finishing his lap. It's P14 in last for Kalu Blue there. So DLX don't look like they're in a good position for the moment. Looking at Pablo though, further back, ESPL, they're pushing for some points this evening. Can they grasp those points or not at the moment? And it's going to be P14, just outside of the points, just very just outside of the points there. We do have Ray and Caporsi, who's also on a lap. He's down by a tenth of a second on his lap so far in the first sector, so we know he's struggling a bit more out there. We know Paul was about 25.5, 25.6 from assists. So, you know, it's not the best of lap times coming from himself. So in comparison, you know, we currently see that based off of this point in the session, no assist is slightly quicker. They were doing 26.1s at this point in assists. So, you know, no assist is slightly in front, but not improving. And that's a really big downside for, I think, the no assist grid, is that they're not really improving on their lap times. Let's see, will Ray and Caporsi do it? No, he won't. He'll drift into the pits. That's what he's going to do. He's going to drift into the pits. We look to, I think, Justin Benteke. He's failed to do his lap. And I think the next one is going to be SCT Finn, who's up by a tenth of a second in his first sector. So he's really finding a bit of time there. He's not going to gain position, but it's going to get a lot closer to that top 5. And to really what he needs. Heading down this straight, he has got an AERT in the way. Will that AERT nicely get out of the way? Yes, it will. But he's also got a Red Bull in the way. And that Red Bull also gets a move on. But will it be considered blocking from, I think that was Noah Boza, or not? What will we see there? We'll have to, I think, wait and see from what we get from that moment. But now, FCT Iceman, first time appearance here this season. And let's see what he could do when he crosses the line. It's only going to be P15, second to last. Not good for himself indeed. Not what he would have been looking for at all this evening, I don't think. Neo Steins is coming up to line. Is he improving? Yes, he does, by a tenth and a half. And he brings it down to a 26.053 for his lap. So, pretty decent. We've got Benjamin Bai coming across the line next. Then we've got Bennett Hayder, who's also improving on his lap quite a bit. So he might be finding quite a big chunk as he jumps to P3. And also into a 26.0 once he finds 2/10 at the line. So pretty solid there for himself. Then we've got his teammate Grund, who's coming up to the line. He also improves to P9 with a quarter of a second improvement in his lap time. Here comes Marcel Biega, who's also improving by a tenth and a half in the middle sector. How much more time can he get through the final chicane? VRE's battle with OMB. It's very important for them this week to stay in front. And Marcel Biega goes to provisional pole, 1 minute 25.978 here tonight, as Noah Boza also improves to P5 on the grid. So at the moment, VRE looking very competitive out on the grid, as we have Schumacher rounding the final corner, but he decides to come into the pits. He doesn't feel he can match the pace, so at the moment they are behind. Based off of points-wise, it's 8 points on number 5, so 13 points for OMB. It would be 28 points for VRE on top of the pole. So, 29 points. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. Very much we're going to be waiting to see what happens. Benjamin Bai comes across the line. He now goes ahead of his teammate Schumacher to P6. So OMB still actually being there, quite close between their teammates at the moment. So we're going to be waiting to see what they can do. When it comes down to the race, we've always seen sort of OMB has been stronger in the races, especially recently in the last maybe I think over round 9 and 10, they've been a bit stronger in the races. Previous times earlier in the season, they were better in qualifying. It's been one of those campaigns for OMB where they've kind of shifted throughout the season. They started off the season where they're qualifying. The first of 4 races, their qualifying was better than their races, and that was really hurting them in race performance. Then it changed up around 5, and then about round 5 up to about, I'd say, round 8. You know, in those sort of 4 races, another 4 races, we've seen OMB sort of match their qualifying performance to their race performance. I think that's what we've seen a lot. And then recently we've seen more of that change, that sort of change once again, to it being their races that are better than their qualifying. We saw that in Las Vegas, and I think we saw that in round 9 as well. So over round 9, 10, and 11, they've had that. So, we're going on their 3rd race that we could be seeing it. So at the moment, they are on 2 races where that's happened. So I think for them at the moment, there's a big positive to take from that indeed. But I'd say that's the same with AZR as well. They've kind of had that shift throughout the season. But their shift has more been in position than qualifying. I think they've been dealt with their large amount of bad luck across this campaign. Of course, they are the assist champions, but even though they're the assist champions, they've not fared well in no assists. 87 points in 10 races, 8.7 points per race as an average, is not bad. But at the moment, they've had consistency where FCT haven't, but they've lacked peak performance. That's really what sums up AZR's season. Yes, they won in the Netherlands. They won in round 9, but that still stands to be their peak of the season. And usually with a couple of the teams, Ventari and stuff, we've seen their sort of peak of the season be sort of 2, 3, 4 times that sort of a couple of wins. VRE with 3 wins across this season. Ventari, I think, who have 4 wins across this season. Even FCT who have a win this season. But, in sort of when you come down to matching that, FCT have had quite a few podiums as well and quite a few top 5 finishes. But with AZR, they've had less top 5 finishes and just the very occasional top 8 finish, while then they'll finish P1 in a race, and that's very much boosted their championship. As Justin makes his way round the final corner, let's see what he does when he crosses the line. Is it a big improvement? It's 7 tenths, but only enough to go up to P10, so it looks like AZR is going to be having a little bit of a tough evening with Justin, but maybe some things to work on over at AZR. But Pablo is also improving. He stays P14 though, no position improvement, yet he improves by over 3.5 tenths of a second. Pretty large. Finn, though. Finn's had to battle through quite a bit of traffic. He's been battling through a lot of traffic, and he's only up by 93 thousandths of a second in his middle sector, so he's definitely lost quite a bit of time because of that traffic. He doesn't have any more now in this final sector, but let's see what he does when he crosses the line, because of course these are going to be, I'm pretty sure, the final lap times of the evening, and Finn goes to P8. 10th found as he stays in his position. No improvement there for himself, and that is him over and done for tonight. Disappointingly, that is it. That is it for himself. We've got Cod Camper, who's just starting his lap. Who is where on track? Looking to the closest driver to the line. I think we just saw it back here. I think it's actually Bennett Hader. Or his teammate Grund? Maybe? Maybe it's one of the DLX cars. I think it's Kalu Blue who's the closest to the line. No, it's Rayan Kaporsi. My apologies. It's actually Rayan Kaporsi who's closest to the line. He's coming up there next. Up by almost 2 tenths of a second. He's going for pole. FCT pushing for a pole position. Once again, I think this would be the 3rd time this season FCT will be looking for pole. And I've got to say, if they get 3 poles, that's going to be a pretty decent end for FCT to the end of the season. And Rayan Kaporsi does a 25.721 when he crosses the line, as Max L goes to P9. We look to Kalu Blue across the line. He stays P17. I think we've got Grund next across the line. He goes P11. He just jumps up the order. Still behind Codemaster, though, who also crosses the line. Let's see Bennett Hayder when he crosses the line. He goes P3 ahead of Neo Steins. We're waiting for the next stats. Antonio who crossed the line. Then Lucas Carl. Then I think we've got Neo Steins, who is crossing the line. As he jumps up to P2 and into a 25 as well. Marcel Biega comes into the pit lane. He feels he's done and he can't improve. And that's disappointment at VRE. And across the line, 12 thousandths of a second for Noah Boza as he stays P5 for the moment. Then we've got Benjamin Bai, who isn't improving on his lap. Then we've got Schumacher, who is improving massively on his lap as he goes to P5 ahead of VRE's Noah Boza and title rivals VRE. And that is that Ryan Kaporsi on pole position here in Japan and for the finale of No Assist. What a pole position it was indeed. I've got to say, top class from themselves. Very interesting to see from FCT. So it is Ren Kaporsi on pole, followed by Neo Steins, Marcel Biega, Bennett Hayder, Schumacher, Noah Boza, Benjamin, Finn, Maxell, Cod Coper, Just Hood, Grund, Antonio, Justin, Iceman, Pablo, Kalu Blue, and Lucas Carl down in last. So another tough week for another tough week for ESPN here in Japan. Is there points? Will there be points? Who knows? We'll have to wait and see whether there will be. So, looking at the grid, FCT up there, you know, we've got sort of 6 teams all looking at a chance to win. You know, we've got on, I think, the very outside, SCT. If they can get a really good strategy in, I think we'll see SCT at least get another win this season. OMB is definitely in there as well. A bit of an outside chance, but Schumacher would need to make some really strong moves in the race. But he just seems a bit off for the pace. VRE's in there, of course, with a P3, P5. You've got FCT, of course, in there. AZR, who's also in there. And, of course, you've got Venturi. So you've got FCT, Venturi, AZR, VRE, OMB. And you've got possibly an outside chance from FCT if they could pull together their race. So it's going to be quite interesting to see whether they do or they don't. Because if they do, we could be looking at something very different. But yeah, I think we're going to see quite a bit. I think we're going to see quite a lot of action tonight. Will it be good? Will it be bad? Will it be big crash as well? We'll have to wait and see for that. Which won't be too much longer now. We've only got about a minute to go until the final race of Season 6. I cannot believe it's already the end of this season. It's unbelievable how quickly time goes by. Who knows? Who knows what we're going to see in this final race? I think what will be interesting is how first and second, of course, are sorted. They know they're going to be where they are, while OMB and VRE sit in third and with a chance for second. They're, battle over third, but also in for a slight chance for second in all of that. If SET don't have a good weekend again. I mean, Las Vegas was a massive letdown for them. Unbelievable letdown. I couldn't get what went so wrong in a championship contending race where the championship could be decided there and then, and they just weren't there. It was unbelievable. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And away we go here in FRLT Season 6, the finale in Japan of no assists, as a great getaway from pole sitter Ueyaka Porsi, who brings out the lead brilliantly there. As he now makes his way through the Suzuka S's, he's really built a good gap and a brilliant start for himself. We can see Finn further back. He's having an absolute battle with the AERTs. All the chaos is happening further back. And we can see that they all start to come together as they make their way up the hill. But a good start from SET Finn there as he jumps up from P9 up to P7 already. 2 places gained right off the start. And that's exactly what he'd be looking for. Not the best of starts from Marcel Biega. He got jumped there by Bennett Hayder in front of him. So it was not the best of starts. But also jumped by Neo Steins and all of that. Just Hood, by the way, having a bit of a battle with the man of Maxell, but Justin further behind. He's got to be careful because that Williams and that AZR driver is all over the back of him. But it does look like AERT are pushing for a strong double points finish, but some struggles possibly already coming from AERT off for this first lap of the race. As we watch Ryan Comporsi lead away on lap 1, he's already built up over half a second gap straight away off of lap 1, and that is a brilliant start from our pole sitter. He's running away a little bit with this race, but so is Neo Steins. He's clearly got some good pace there as we go on to lap 2 of this race. Everything is up for grabs, but Bennett Hayder really struggling for pace because he's already a second away from the top 2. So definitely Bennett Hayder not up to pace, and he's already starting to fall behind the top 2 in this race, which is a pretty big thing on lap 2 out of 27 to already be this far behind. You don't want that. You really cannot have that as a team or as a driver. It's just unbelievable to think about. But there goes Maxell past Cod Camper. He makes his way through. So does Just Hood. As a disconnection for AERT is really going to hurt them. Maxell gains a place there and up in position. I've got to say, quiet start from Noah Boza. Still in P6. He's gotten away pretty well. Benjamin Bai didn't. He dropped a place right off the start. Which, is pretty big negative there for OMB, especially in a championship battle that they're in. At the moment, it is 19 points going to VRE. And it is, it's 19 points going to VRE, and OMB are taking 16 points. So 3 points gained. 3 points gained at the moment from VRE. So the gap, of course, closes from, I believe it's 7 points down to just 4 points. But here, Noah Bose needs to get past Schumacher to gain those extra 2 points to bring it down to 2. And Marcel Biega also needs to get ahead of Bennett Hayder. Because win-wise, VRE have more wins. They get more wins. They have more wins across the season. 3 wins in 10 races. OMB, I believe, have just 1 or 2 wins in 10 races. So, at the moment, it would be just the invite. My apologies. I did not see the invite a driver. Let's see, where is he on my list? He better be on my list. There he is. Sometimes when people disconnect, they don't come back online, and then I can't re-invite them. But this goes the same for Marcel Biega at the moment. He's sitting in the same position if he needs to make a move soon, because of course Bennett Hayden's over a second behind the top two, and that gap is going to be growing soon. But Bennett Hayden has just forced himself back up into that 1 second gap, but he's already, you can see, dropping time, just over and over, and he's already 3/10 back now. That's, you know, it's going to be pretty difficult to see for some teams how they're going to do this, and I think, you know, we're going to be expecting a move between the Ventari and VRE. And there goes Marcel Biega around the outside, making the big move there. An upper place, and that's the 2 points extra they needed. They just need 2 more to equal OMB. And yes, I shall send you another invite here tonight. I shall send you another. But Marcel Biega making the important move, and already within a second of Neo Steins, back up into the DRS. But it looks like Bennett Hayden's just really struggling on his tyres at the moment. It looks like he's just struggling a lot. So are we going to be seeing a struggle from Ventari this evening? Is there going to be some problems for the Ventari team, or are we going to see something come a bit better from them? Because at the moment, the pace does not look good from Bennett Hayden, and it looks even worse from his teammate Grund, who I do understand is an engineer and doesn't usually drive, but at the moment Ventari looking like they're going to get one of their worst finishes of the entire season right now, which just is not that good. But now the worst thing is we can just see Neo Steins doesn't have DRS to Ryan Kaporsi, but Marcel Biega has DRS to Neo Steins, and that's another almost 4/10 of a second found on the AZR driver. It looks like we might already see Marcel Biega eyeing up another move on another driver. Could third in the championship be possible for VRE? Because at the moment, that's 13 points for third on top of the 8. That's 21 points compared to still 16. So that's 5 points closer. So there is just currently a 2-point gap between third and fourth. Will VRE capture this final 2 points and take third in the championship by 0 points, equaling with OMB, becoming the first ever team, by the way, to equal on points at the end of a season? Or are we going to see something a bit different come from Schumacher maybe a little bit later on in this race? But he is sticking behind Bennett Hayden. He's been sticking behind him for quite a while now, so we'll have to wait and see what he does as the race goes on, as it is only lap 5 of 27, so still another 22 laps this race to go, as Antonio gets the first penalty of the evening, a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings for track limits specifically. You can see there Noah Boza is practically pushing Schumacher through the corner, who's ultimately almost pushing Bennett Hayden through the corner. So let's see, it looks like Noah is going to be looking for a move. Noah Boza, is he going to go for it? Has he got the momentum? Has he got the speed? No, just a little bit too far behind. So he's going to have to stick out in P6 for now. But really, OMB, for Schumacher, they really need to hold on to this P5, because they know they're not going to lose P8, because Maxell is too slow, 3 seconds behind Benjamin. So P8 is the worst that we could probably see from him. But the big question is this P5, because they've got Finn also behind, who could also be a threat to drop them even further down. So for Schumacher here, you really cannot afford to make a single mistake on this next lap, because if he does, that could be third in the championship gone and prize pool gone. Of course, they were runners-up last season, second in the championship, claimed their first ever trophy in FRLT. This season, it was a tough Japan for them. They dropped from first in the championship going into Japan and dropped all the way down to fourth in the Constructors' Championship, losing out on all prize pull there as well. So it was so unlucky on Wednesday for OMB that they dropped all points. I think they scored 1 point at the end of the evening, and that left them with, from first down to fourth in the championship. But Benjamin is trying to solidify a defense for the championship, but it's not going to happen because SET Finn is going to stop it from happening. And so Benjamin's chance has kind of disappeared just slightly there. But you could see quite a bit of aggression coming from Benjamin. He wants to make this move, and he wants to at least try to help to secure the championship back in favour of OMB. But that looks like it could be quite tough because Bennett Hayder is almost at that second mark. It just went above it. You can see it sitting right at that 9.5 tenths of a second. He's losing bits of time here and there. It's just sitting a bit close to that 9 tenths. It's coming down a bit again. But it's definitely some struggles coming from Bennett Hayder at the moment. Quite a few struggles coming from him at the moment. Definitely looks like it's mostly tyre wear, which is, of course, not good because it's a pretty big thing to lose out on. Bennett Hayder is now over a second behind Marcel Biega, so it's a pretty big problem now for the Ventauri driver. His teammate's on for 2 points, where he's on for 11, but could be dropping down anytime soon because that gap is dropping. Same for also Max L behind. He's also dropped that second down to 2.3 seconds, so he's been able to drop this about 6 tenths off of that time at the moment. So he's dropping a good amount of time there while he leaves Justin Benteke far in the distance for now. Far in the distance. But we haven't checked up on somebody for a while, and that's Ren Kaporsi, who's leading this race. He's led every lap. He's led 7 laps of this race, and he's going on to the 8th leading again. His gap in the lead's dropped slightly, but he is comfortably leading this race. I don't think he's really had any problems. Schumacher, by the way, gets past Bennett Hayder for P4 now. Does go a little bit deep on the brakes. But now Schumacher gets another point in OMB's part. And so that extra point puts them now to 3 points in front. So for Marcel Biega, the 2 points gained from overtaking Neo Steins won't be enough. He needs his teammate Noah Boza to overtake Bennett Hayder, get back the 2 points, bring it back down by 2 points, and bring it down to just a 1 point gap. But we'll have to wait and see because there's a lot of chaos going on everywhere. A swap at ESPL. Pablo gets past Lucas Cull for P14. Not much there. Again, a very lonely evening for ESPL. Very lonely evening for them, with only Iceman behind them in sort of that battle, but no points on for these guys, far off the pack. Bit of a lonely evening for these 3 drivers, I'd say, so it's not been the best for them, but you can just see Neo Steins almost within a second of the race leader. He's just keeping in front of that. Somebody's had a moment. Oh! That was Noah Boza. Noah Boza's without a front wing. And it's a safety car. It's a safety car. It is a full safety car here in Japan. And Marcel Biega gets to the pits. Of course, the other 2 weren't able to. We're going to see hard tyres, I think, go on for some drives. Everybody's coming in. But of course, Noah Boza doesn't have a front wing. I want to see what happened there. We completely missed it. So that's going to be incredibly frustrating as now the front wing goes back onto the car. Noah Boza now pulls out of the pit lane. And now he's on his way. P12 in this race now, so he's dropped back quite a bit. But that will be P11 with Antonio's penalty. But that now leaves Ren Kaporsi and Neo Steins on those old medium tyres, which means Marcel Biega could find himself very quickly up into the lead of tonight's race. Pit stops. Pit stops now from everybody. Apologies, I had to quickly run off to the door. Apologies to everyone. But Marcel Biega now leads the race. Ryan Capozzi and Neo Steins drop way down. But now the championship. We've got to talk about the championship because 7 points was the gap. Marcel Biega gains 3 on Schumacher. So that means it comes down to 4. But Benjamin Bye, if you look at the top 2, it's that would be 22 points for OMB. And it would currently be 23 points for VRE. So 1 point gain, 6 points is still the gap. And so very much Marcel Biega will be hoping that either Noah Boza or Finn and some of the others can start to make their way past. That's very much going to be the hope, with some backmarkers like I think Iceman not stopping in this race. You can see he's not stopped yet. Hard tyres for everybody except Grund, who's gone to the mediums. He's gone for the reverse strategy there. But awful luck for Ryan Capozzi leading this race, leading the first 8 laps of tonight's race, and that's all fallen apart for our race leader now. And our pole sitter, it's all fallen apart. FCC gain a point from pole, but lose 18 from an unlucky safety car. Same for Neo Steins, also losing a lot from that as well. But now the interesting thing for Noah Boza is he's now sitting in with 2 cars in front of him. He knows he's a lot quicker than, at least by sort of 0.3 of a second. So the recovery here has got to be important for himself. Bennett Hayder as well, remember, is now behind after that horrific crash. We saw into the chicane, which brought out the first safety car, and I think in 4 races. It's the first safety car since round 8 that we've had. So it's been quite a while since we've had a safety car. 2 races without a safety car. Now we're back to safety cars once again. So got a lot to look at there, but Marcel Biega off in the lead. Will VRE claim their 4th win of the season or not? What are we going to see from these guys? Hards for everybody except for Grund, and also Iceman hasn't stopped in this race yet. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on for here. So, we are looking at Marcel Biega leading the way. Are we going to have a safety car underway? Are we going to see the safety car go? Yes, it is. Safety car is finally in this lap. So we're going to get racing back onto lap number 12. Still another 15 laps of this race remaining. So, of course, this has extended the race distance a bit, but it's helped a couple of drivers with the change to the hard tyres. Could we see the softs at the end, or are we going to see the drivers try to stretch out the hard tyres till the end? We saw it in assists, but let's see. It's all up to Marcel Biega for when he goes, and when will he go? Everybody just knocking into each other there. And now, starting off straight off onto the final corner. It's actually been a decent restart from Marcel Biega as he makes his way down the pit straight. You see everybody spaced out quite a bit. Not the best of luck for some. We've got Noah Boza, though, who is going side by side with somebody. He's going side by side with Antonio and already making up a place in this race up to P9. And that's a good start from one side of the VRE garage. Next up is Just Hood, who he also knows he's quite a bit quicker than on track. So he will be hoping to get past him, hopefully, by the end of the lap. So far, not The worst of restarts. Marcel Biega, though, already starting to get away for the distance. We know Marcel Biega was a decent bit quicker than Schumacher at the start of the race on the medium tyres. Let's see, is that going to hold true on the medium tyres? Sorry, on the hard tyres as well. Are we going to see that come true here? As he now makes his way down. As here comes Justin Benteke. Iceman goes wide. I think you see further back as a couple of drivers now just starting to get past Iceman for position. Position by position. Now makes his way around. So, as we watch on, Marcel Biega leads on lap number 14. We're seeing a couple of moments further back. It is Pablo, further back, who's having a moment. He's just dropped back down to the back. I think he's just had a bit of spin on his own, or he's just actually been put in the wall, as we can see some of his front wing missing there. Cod Camper battling with Iceman for position. He's just not able to get out in front yet. Here comes Leo Steins down the inside and into P15 of Grund. That's another position gained versus the medium tyre runners. Although I have to say, Schumacher and Finn have been able to keep up with Marcel Biega quite nicely here. They've actually split away from Justin Benteke further back, who's now dropped to over 2 seconds behind. Noah Bose's progress hasn't Noah Boza. Noah Boza making his way around. As there goes Schumacher in the lead. He gets in front of Marcel Biega, that pace dropping off of the Red Bull quite quickly there. Marcel Biega not being able to have the same amount of sort of paces he's been showing on those hard tyres. Looks like he is struggling a little bit of that pace. Maybe just trying to recharge the battery a bit, get a bit of DRS, just save his battery towards the end, save his tyres a little bit more. But this could be the first sign of tyre degradation. But sadly for VRE at the moment, they would be finishing 4th in the Constructors, and so it would not be too good for themselves from tonight. Schumacher making his way round Spoon. He looks pretty confident. We've seen in the last race in Las Vegas, he was much stronger in the race than in qualifying. Qualified roughly where he did today, and again he's off in the lead of another race. So it's good to see from OMB that they're not having a sort of tough day like we've seen at times this season. It's good to see that they're back out into the lead and sort of swapped with VRE entirely here. P1, P5 it was earlier. Now it's P1, P5 for OMB, so it's swapped around a little bit. Iceman drops further down. He's holding up a massive pack of cars. Whoa! And that's Neo Steins, who's been half spun as he drops down to P17 again. As I think quite a bit of frustration, and you can see a lot of frustration for Neo Steins coming in there. As he now retires, and our first retirement of tonight's race comes in on lap number 16 of 27. But Schumacher's been able to hold on to this lead, and it's even building a bit of a gap here. So there could be a chance for something quite good to come out from this. So, Schumacher leads away. He's been able to keep this sort of nice sort of half a second gap. He's very much focusing on exits of corners, trying to stay in front of Marcel Biega. He's not been able to do so well this time off of the final chicane. Will it be Marcel Biega to jump out in front? Is he going to have the straight line speed to do it? No, he won't, as Bennett Hayder gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings in this race. The penalty starting to add up for quite a few drivers. We've got it for Bennett Hayder, Antonio, Lucas Kalublu, and Pablo. So a decent chunk of the grid now picking up some penalties here and there. Schumacher making his way around. But Schumacher making his way down. Back straight, still not a lot of moves happening anywhere. Benjamin Bai, though, is closing in on Justin Benteke for P4, so we might see a bit of racing coming there, because we see quite a few drivers further back that are just kind of following this DRS train at the moment. We get this quite a lot round Suzuka, sort of a big DRS train going on. We see this as we approach these final 9 laps of the race. The race getting through quite quickly. I think further back's also quite spaced out. I've got to say, Bennett Hayden's kind of the first one in that, kind of on his own in this race, same as Cod Camper, same as Antonio. Kind of all three of these guys kind of on their own in this sort of 3-second gap, not really able to do anything at the moment. Bennett Hayden's luck, of course, being quite low. That collision with Noah Boza did not help at all early on in the race. Of course, we saw Noah Boza without an entire front wing. But Bennett Hayden making his way around 130, of course, fastest track. Yes, we can see the tyres. Let's have a look at the tyres indeed. Not many changes. Iceman and Pablo on fresher mediums. Grund, the only other one on older mediums. I think we know that these drivers are going to be going till the end on these tyres. Benjamin by the way, gets almost past Justin Benteke, and there he goes, up into 4th in this race. And for VRE, it's very much the opposite of what they needed. They needed to be from the position swap, Marcel P1 and Noah Boza P4, but at the moment it looks like the championship is going to OMB. It looks like 3rd place will go to them, and VRE will just miss out on 3rd in the championship. That's really disappointing. You know, they debuted midway through last season, 7 races in, they got to 6th in the constructors, over 80 points this season. They're going to get to over 170 points in their championship, 170, 180 points in the championship, and they're going to finish in 4th. So it's interesting to see how the points have changed between this season and last season. Last season, 180 points would have actually gotten you, I think it would have gotten you 3rd. So it's interesting to see. It's very interesting to see that, you know, last season I think it was 154 points got 3rd. So the fact that both OMB and VRE have more points than that, and that's still 3rd and 4th, just proves there's a decent gap, especially because remember that was 13 races last season. It's only 11 this season. So with this season there being less, it definitely makes a bit of a difference, I think, when it comes down to that. Again, Marcel being again a little bit closer to Schumacher, just occasionally down that pit straight with the DRS, but then you can see the gap just starts to go up a bit more between them. Finn definitely starting to struggle a little bit more. Finn's definitely struggling just a little bit more compared to the 2 in front of him, which of course isn't the best. It isn't the best indeed. Not the best for him, but he's keeping that gap sort of around that half a second, 6/10, but occasionally it's jumping up a bit high, and that's exactly what you don't want. You know, not in a race like this. Exactly what you don't want to have. You know, Iceman just puts in the fastest lap of the race, 129.335 in a fresh set of mediums. That's not bad from himself. Definitely not a bad one from himself at all. But the interesting one here is Noah Boza stuck behind Maxell in P6. But you see here, there goes a little bit of a look from Maxell for P5 ahead of Justin Benteke. But no, we're not really able to be a part of this group, I must say. He's kind of a bit stuck in this area where he's not able to be part of this group. He's not able to really make the move because Maxell hasn't been able to do it, and You know, it's kind of, I think, holding him up a bit, but I just think those hard tyres just aren't working for Noah Boza as much as the medium tyres did. He's not been able to get away too well. Of course, that front wing replacement as well put him far behind where he should have been. He should have been sort of another 4 seconds further up front. He should have been far in front of Justin Benteke. Not Justin Benteke, but he should have been ahead of Benjamin Bai, probably. But now with this, Benjamin Bai is running away, and OMB is running away with third in the championship. Kalu Blue, by the way, makes a move as Lucas Carl makes a mistake and spins it. We've seen it a few times. We saw, I think, 3 times in assists on Wednesday. Drivers spinning it on that corner up the hill. But I think that's the first time we've seen tonight, or possibly the second time we've seen tonight that happen. So it's an interesting one to see. Still, the front 3 on their own. Schumacher again putting a pretty decent first sector there. He's proving that he's still got the pace on the hard tyres when he needs to be. But again, we've seen Marcel and Finn close up a bit more this lap in the middle six. We've seen it sort of creep a little bit closer over the last 3 laps, just starting to get bit closer. Noah Boza, by the way, making a ballsy dive bomb on Maxell for P6. And a solid move it is indeed for Noah Boza, an important move for the championship. At least bringing a little bit closer indeed. Even just a little bit closer, I think, just helps in general. Very much. I think it helps quite a bit in general when you're even just another point closer. Just helps possibly with the opportunity later in the race. I think Noah Boza knows that opportunity has kind of gone. But look at this. Ryan Kaposi and Josh Hood battling side by side. AERT versus FCT. We haven't seen this a lot this season. It's quite rare that we've seen it. Usually they've been quite far apart from each other in the grid. But Josh Hood holds his position and holds on to P8. But look at this. All the chaos is happening here over P6. Noah Boza and Maxell side by side through turn 1 and turn 2. Whoa! Maxell has a massive moment. And look at this side by side. Just Hood and Maxell for position. Through the center. Oh, and off onto the gravel they go. They go all the way off onto the gravel. Oh my god, they've both completely gone off. And that is Maxell round. And that is, I think, mega disappointment for himself and for SCT. I think that is an insane move there. And I think it's sort of another time we've seen this race where drivers just either aren't, it's not even just leaving the spaces. I think just hard racing we're seeing here at the moment. I think that's really the right thing to say is hard racing. That's what we're seeing. But we've got to look to the top 3s. The final 3 and a bit laps come round. About to go on to lap 25 with the final 3 laps of tonight's race to go. And I've got to say, an interesting race it has been indeed. Very interesting race. So, looking around, we can see Schumacher leading this race. And Noah Boza, by the way, making a ballsy move again. He's trying to make another position up, but he's unable to. Gets a bit stuck in another car, and there goes also Ryan Camporsi for position. But look at this side by side between Schumacher and Marcel Biega. Championship is going on over this. Well, if Noah Boza can get up to P5, there's only 1 point separation. So at the moment, it's 29 points for the team of OMB, and it would currently be 22 points for VRE. But if Marcel Biega can make up a position, that's an extra 3 points. So that brings them down to 26 and to 25. But they need 7 points more. And if Noah Boza can gain those extra 3 points, it could potentially turn the tide of this race. It could make it 28 points to 26. Who knows? We'll have to see. But you can see Schumacher being very defensive through Spoon. But also you've got to count in Finn here. He's also caught right up to the back of this. So we could even see an attempt from SET to take a win this season. We could even see that from them, which would be incredibly interesting to see them take a win here, the second win of the season. But here comes Marcel Biega again, trying to look for a move through the final chicane. Who's going to go for it? Can Marcel Biega have enough drive to get away? No, he doesn't. He's struggling a bit for the drive. Everything being deployed down this pit straight. Here he comes around the outside. He's going to try. He's going to have to wait back, but he's gone deep. He's gone very deep. Is that going to allow Finn in? No, it won't. It won't allow Finn to make a move, but look at this. Ryan Camporsi is trying to make a move, but both of them go off, and both of them let through Noah Boza into P5. And that is a swift and nice move, but look at that. Oh my god, there goes Ryan Camporsi, who goes sliding off into the gravel after a very ambitious dive bomb on Noah Boza there. But oh my god, the moves all coming in place. But again, we've got to look to the front. Final lap, three-way battle between three teams inside of this top four in the constructors. Down into the hairpin, Marcel Biega looked for a move, but he's not able to do a good defensive move from Schumacher there, being able to put Marcel Biega off of a cheeky dive bomb into the hairpin. Still following behind the Spoon. Could have gone for a move there from Marcel Biega. We've seen a couple try that, but I think it can get a bit too messy heading down this next straight. Let's see. Move. No, he's not going to do it. Going to hold behind. And Schumacher, as he comes round the final corner, Schumacher wins in FRLT Season 6, round number 11 at Japan in no assists to claim third in the championship for OMB, with Marcel Biega following in second, and then finally Finn in third. See a lot of changes going on throughout the grid. Camper gets up to 6th because of penalties. So that's very lucky for himself there. Penalties have helped him out quite a bit in this race, as FCT suffer more issues. Ryan Camporsi reverses his way round to the line. He's just reversing his way over. He's going to get beaten for 13th, but then he does get it back. But that's it. Ryan Camporsi finished 1 point for FCT in what could have been 18 or 19, but 2 points for FCT this weekend. Their worst week, I believe, of the entire season for the Sauber outfit. So not great at all, not too good at all for them, but a great weekend for a great weekend for OMB. So let's look through the order of the grid. Schumacher wins from Marcel Vega, Finn, Benjamin, Noah Boza, Cod Camper, Justin, Bennett Hader, Just Hood, Maxell, Antonio, Grund, Rayan, Calublu, Iceman, Lucas Carl, Pablo, and the one retirement being Neo Steins. And with that, that is the final race over. And sadly, there is no interviews tonight. I do apologize. No interviews. I just sadly don't have time to do interviews tonight. So thank you guys so much for watching here in Season 6. I hope you have enjoyed it. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also click on the notification bell to know about the content we do from short streams and videos. Make sure to go and join our Discord server. The link is down below in the description. Same for also our Twitter. The link is down below. With that, thank you guys so much. And also big thanks to our affiliates this season, VRE and Motorsport Connect. Goodbye.
Feel like we're falling away. Maybe I just need to feel nothing to make it easier to turn away and leave. Maybe we're fanning the flame. So why do I keep holding out my hand to get burned? I don't wanna clash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away, yeah. I don't wanna crash anymore. I can hear the ghosts in the walls. It's telling me to run away.
Here in Monza, and it is a race opening victory for Eve. I'm still battling with Kuba.
You said you don't know me well, but I'm your angel in white. I'll be close if you come. I'll be just behind you. You're not on the list, but I can get you inside. Use your mind, listen to my voices and guide you. Give yourself over, yeah, you don't wanna fight. If you do, I'm gonna bid you a
But he's
hard
gone wide!
night,
Speed,
baby.
he's going
Hang on to your
incredible.
ticket, you're doing alright. And if you don't trust it, hold it up to the light. So quiet, try to hide it. If a new thought formed, we would swallow it down. Empty stares, never question the illusion. If you play alone, they will leave you to drown. Stand up, 'cause we are the movement. Don't stop, straight into the dark. Wake up, 'cause this is the moment.